Hi everybody, this is Wolf Branch Homestead, starting off new week, and hummingbirds are busy today. Let's get it a little bit more level there. There we go. So, welcome. We've got a few new people with us and a lot of watchers on some of the other videos. You will hear our pup in the background. He knows when it starts getting dark and he is ready for his walk already, so he will be crying and crying in the background and fussing at us, but he's just ready for his walk, especially now that it's not raining today. But lots of activity, and we're curious to know if you're watching from a northern area and you have hummingbirds or you've had hummingbirds. Oh wow, we've got a crowd already. Hi, little Homestead. Hi, Ginger. Good to see everybody. Um, we're on time today, getting at about 6:35 it looks like now. But if you're up north and you've seen hummingbirds this year, let us know if your activity has declined or if your hummingbirds are completely gone and migrated already. Hearing that there's some movement already with them, I don't know if you can hear it, but they are in the background talking. Woo, they are very talkative today. Hummingbirds are definitely active, so we should see a lot of movement here. Um, but again, good to see everybody. Hopefully, everyone's had a wonderful start to the week. Again, if you have your volume on, you can hear the hummingbirds come up to the feeder, but you're also going to hear the pup, so I apologize. But let me get in here and get on chat, and let's see if the hummingbirds will come up pretty soon. Got a lot of them today. And yes, I know. Yes, I know, sir. Sir, your concerns are heard. You will go on a walk. All right, everyone. Well, the camera has gone out of focus here. And it seems like sorry, reading through the chat here. Yeah, weather-wise, we're staying around that like 50% chance of rain. And when we do get it, it's been thunderstorms here lately. Um, Luckily, Gulf of Mexico is looking clear so far for hurricanes and storms, but the most recent one that kind of hit us was back in 2020 in October, late October, I believe. I actually know that would have been middle October. We got the outer bands of a tropical storm, so we can expect bad weather like that to come off of potential hurricanes, tropical storms, all the way into like October. So we're definitely always keeping an eye on the weather, hoping not to get terrible rain coming through, bad storms, things like that. So if it is storming, we won't be streaming. So just check with us, make sure you have your notifications on. And if it's storming here, we're not going to be streaming. But for now, activity was good today. On camera, we got Traveler and we got the little pin feather female. That, to me, that's kind of what it looks like Ginger and I were talking about, that it was most likely going to be a little younger female that had gone through molt. So those two came on today. We've got a bunch of other feeders out, so there's other places for the other birds to go. The feeder down the road, there's a male on that one. Mostly him, kind of like how Traveler takes over this one, but the one down the road, it's mainly another male, but there are a couple of females that will go to that one. We've got the other feeder around the side. There's an older adult female on that one. And then around the back, there are two more. And then there's a bunch of flowers blooming right now. So the ones that aren't on the feeders, they're going to be at the flowering plants, the Rose of Sharon. They've really been going to. My mother-in-law's got, I don't know how you all say them, but sometimes we'll say zinnias or zinnias, depending on how you pronounce it. Those flowers they'll go up to and visit sometimes. And again, kind of like what we talked about before, if you're newer to watching this, our activity levels are going to start picking up in September when we get all the hummingbirds migrating through. So I'm going to start putting our activity levels in the description of the videos and letting you know from our observations throughout the day what the hummingbirds are acting like then. So kind of what activity you can expect to see in the video, what they're behaving like during the day, if we're seeing a lot of birds, if we're not seeing many. Yeah, it's different. I've heard a lot. There's a lot of things down here, like in the south, that are pronounced a lot different. So depending on where you're from, how you say it, you know, it's different ways as far as the flowers. But activity levels, I'll start posting that and kind of updating everybody on how they're acting and how many we have here as kind of an estimate. And again, around September, we should start seeing more. And then usually mid-October, they're going to be gone for good. So again, for anybody that's new visiting us, we get them. Our first visitor is going to be sometime around mid-March. Our last visitor is going to be sometime around mid-October. But our plan this year is to keep a game camera on the feeder through the month of October and through the end, so we know exactly what we have if we still have any birds visiting that last feeder. Game camera was surprisingly a good idea this year. We stationed our first feeder out, started putting nectar out at the 1st of March, I believe it was. Might have been a little bit earlier, but I think the 1st of March I had started putting the feeder out and I put the game camera on it. And I think it was the 19th of March was the first bird, and that's how we actually found out, because I wasn't hearing them, I wasn't seeing them, but the game camera actually caught the picture of the first bird. And that was a really good thing to have. We've already had one and invested in it and had it for a few years, and I said, well, maybe it'll catch them coming up to the feeder, and it did. And throughout the beginning part of them coming to visit, that's also how we discovered when we had our first female, and you could see them up perched on the feeder or flying by. We had one where it was like right up near the front of the camera. We had one where it was like a wren or something had its face right up there on the camera. So it was pretty neat to see the birds through that method. But for anybody that's looking to check out activity levels, get a cheap game camera. We have a Wild Game Innovations Terra 6, I believe it is. They make different models, so the Terra has gone up number wise in the newer models, but that is a more affordable camera, and that's what we use to take pictures with the hummingbirds and mark when they first started showing up here at the house, and that's what we'll use throughout the end of the year. But I've been talking, as always. I usually talk a little bit before and after and just kind of tell everybody what's going on with hummingbirds and also some other information. So as always, we really appreciate you watching with us and joining in. Little Homestead, it was good to see you. Ginger, good to see you as always. Yeah, definitely, Ginger. A little cheap game camera and get an SD card to go with it. And the one we have, it takes 8 AA batteries, so quite a bit, but if you invest in actual good batteries or you get rechargeable ones, you should get a good lifespan out of it. And also, you know, have the SD card with a decent capacity to it and just set it to take photos instead of video, and it'll get a lot on there. So that's a good thing to try to set up if you want to see what hummingbirds are visiting. And we honestly considered leaving one up all year to see if we had any other species to visit. But for right now, we've got the game camera positioned out just to kind of see what wildlife we have around, so we've moved it. But that's also a good way to monitor if you have other species visiting your feeder too. But once they start coming to the feeder, you're going to have a lot of pictures, so you're going to have to go through that basically daily if you start getting a lot of birds. Yeah, and some of them they'll have photo and video settings, but the video takes up so much that it's usually better to just set it on photo. But again, hopefully everyone's had a wonderful weekend so far. This past weekend, I went with my family to the Foxfire Museum in Georgia. It's up in the north part of Georgia. And they came out with the book series back in the 70s, I believe it was. And it's a lot about living in that area and self-sufficient skills and how people lived in the mountain range there. And they used royalties from the book to actually open the museum and everything and buy the land that the museum's on. Yes, I know, I hear you howling. It's almost time. And if you're ever in the area, the Foxfire Museum was really neat to see. There's a lady there, I can't remember her name offhand, but she's called the Village Weaver, is her little setup in the museum. And I just want to say that I appreciate her so much. As soon as we walked in while she was working on her weaving, she was so in depth with explaining what she was doing to us and very polite. And I love when we go to places like that and the people really involve you in the history of things and kind of explain things. I will say if you go to the Foxfire Museum, there is a lot of uphill through the woods hiking. They do let people drive through there for accessibility, but for us, not even really taking a lot of time to read and listen to things, it was still about 2 hours throughout the entire place. I'm sorry, he's having a moment today. But they do events there, they do demonstrations, you can sign up for classes, they have a needle felting class, they have a flint knapping class, there's quite a few things there. But it was a really neat place to go, so if you're ever up there in the north part of Georgia, go visit the Foxfire Museum. And that was just something, you know, kind of a side thing to talk about that was really fun. And I'll try to make a little video and upload some pictures and video from that, just a short little thing. And for now, oh my gosh, he was starting into a full howl. He will rear his head back and go, whoa! he knows it, but he's definitely ready to go on a walk. But anyways, again, I have been just talking up as usual. Good little bit of hummingbird activity today, but again, hopefully everyone's had a wonderful weekend. Sorry we got to kind of rambling about our weekend. Just trying to, like I said, share with anybody that's interested in maybe visiting the Foxfire Museum that it's been open. It's pretty neat to go to, and hopefully everybody's had a wonderful start to their week and continues to have a good week. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go get chores done and make sure that our almost 8-year-old dog that still thinks he's a puppy can go on his walk. So have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you again next time, and enjoy. Hopefully you had a good time seeing the hummingbirds.